don't want to be dependent on the government. Where's Obama's stat?
I thought that the new healthcare plan didn't discriminate against pre-existing conditions.
It's not in force yet. And what will happen when it does become in force, because I have read it, what will happen is I will be forced into a high-risk category, which will allow the insurance companies to limit the benefit paid for my pre-existing conditions. My pre-existing condition is diabetes. And diabetes affects your heart, it affects your circulatory system. So any problem that I have, they will pay 20 to 25% as opposed to what my former insurance would pay, which was 80%. And the foolish thing that you understand, remember Barack Obama said, and I quote, "I don't want people to go bankrupt for medical conditions. Insurance doesn't prevent that." 10 years ago, my dad had really great coverage, both from his civilian employer and from his military retirement, and he had cancer. His out-of-pocket expenses were $250,000 after what they paid. But because he had a very severe and rare form of cancer and double cancer, and he was so far gone, it cost a tremendous amount of money. Had my father not invested since he was a young man, he could not have paid that and would have had to be bankrupted. Okay, so insurance doesn't stop that. And in fact, the way insurance works, it actually has set the floor on medical costs and made them go up. The way to lower medical costs, genuinely, now, okay, why would I know this? Well, I work for a company that works in the health industry, okay? So I'm very familiar with how we price, because that's the software that my company creates. Okay, I work for a healthcare company and I don't have health insurance. Isn't that ironic? Okay, now, what happens is the insurance sets a certain floor that is paid. But insurance doesn't guarantee you access to a doctor. Have you ever read your insurance card if you have one? It says this doesn't guarantee payment, does it? It says there right on it. So they're going to assess whether or not I deserve that payment. That's a fact. That's not going to change.
Here's the carpeting.
It's a sliding risk group. Briefly, my story, my wife is in remission from a rare lymphoma, and when she got it, actually we're both in remission, when she got it, a friend of mine, it all happened, she went to the hospital for a cold, Fair Oaks, diagnosed with a cold, severe infection in her lungs, and then from there in 2 days she's got lymphoma. So they were going to treat her right away. So I called up a cousin of mine who had lymphoma. I said, "Hey, what can I do?" He said, "Well, go see this other oncologist." I got him. He was the first one was saying, "You only have like 2 or 3 weeks to get this train going." So talked to the other one. He said, "You have some time. It's a slow growth lymphoma." I go to him. Then I go to this friend of mine, and I said, "Listen, Alex." He said, "What do I do?" I said, "Alex, I want the guy who wins the Super Bowl. I want that oncologist." I said, "If I have to go to France, I'll do it." He is involved in this medical web program that he owns, and so he found me this woman who's in D.C. I went to her, I went to 3 others, and I got 2 diagnoses exactly the same. But point being, the original chemo that would have been prescribed, this is a fact, was counterindicated. It would have done more harm than good. She wound up with this. It's called a targeted therapy. Maybe you're in nursing and you know about that, but it's called a targeted therapy. It's recently on the market. When I went through my ballot, it had not gone through. She got that. Right now she's okay. It's 7 years later.